So that's where we draw the curtain on entertainment gist for the week. So let's get back to our conversation on women, and issues that's got to do with women. Now, let me start with you, Noye. Welcome again to the show. All right. So you are someone who have been in the counseling sector for a bit. Also, you're a school administrator. You've done so many things and all that. So I want to know the interest for women, where that stems from, and tie in that with your book, Woman Arise. How did that come about?
All right. Growing up in a family where I saw my mom go through so much, so much. As a growing child, I kept asking myself, what would I have done to help my mom? And so it was always on my mind to do something that could help women. No, initially it started with my mom, and then over time I realized that it wasn't peculiar to my mom. I realized that women,
the issues she was going through.
Yes, okay. women generally, because I saw her friends, I saw people around us right then in Okeana where we used to live before we eventually went back to the. So, as a growing child, I kept asking myself, what would I do to help women? So when I got to the university, I was more like the mother hen. Always watching out for the girls, watching out for the women, always trying to alleviate in any way, any burden around anybody. So that actually ignited that fire. So I moved on, and I'm very lucky to have a marriage where it's kind of different from what I saw my mom go through. So it gave me a lot of courage also. I have a very supportive man. So that also made me to understand that there are still men who could stand by the women. It's not all negative. So that gave me a lot of strength. And I started in my little way. Of course, I went into counseling. I had to get some certifications. And with every new day, you find out that the problems are magnified. Women who are helpless, who are voiceless, who just feels trapped wherever they find themselves because maybe they're not economically empowered. They're just, and I'm like, there are some of these issues that as little as 100,000, 50,000, even no money, you just, motivate the person and you build, and the person just catches the fire. And so it kept on moving on like that. In the church, of course, that's where a lot of women run to, and then we counsel and they cry out. So it became my motivation. So the little I could do, I saw it was blossoming, and a lot of women were finding strength in it and blossoming. Now, Woman Arise is a book that I wrote as a result of all the experiences I've gathered, speaking with women, counseling young girls, counseling growing up girls, and all that. So I realized that quite a lot of women are already defeated even before they started. When we talk about women emancipation, some of us, the emancipation we need is actually a mental emancipation. It's something that has to, is a mindset thing.
That is a function of maybe how we're raised,
exactly,
the environment we find ourselves in.
Exactly.
Right.
So we needed to, it's a journey to unlearn some of those traditional whatever we have been imbued with, you had to unlearn them and then relearn. So when we started reaching out to women, even in my school, where I have a nursery, primary, secondary school, with the children as small as they are, we try to build that confidence that will make you stand out even as a girl. And we just see them blossom. So we defeat that mindset of, oh, I'm the weak vessel, I can't do much. So I hear people ask me, sorry sis, let me tell you, I've written 57 books. So when I tell my learners that Mrs. Martins has 57, everybody's like, wow, how do you do that? You do this, you do that, you're a counselor, you are this, you're that, how do you do it? I said, everything begins with your mind. Do you believe that you can do it? It's not about who stops me, it's about myself. So that gave rise to Woman Arise. I said, every woman can do so much But you have to, first of all, believe in yourself. I do not believe that any woman should be in a position where you're so trapped and so helpless that you can't help yourself. You must, first of all, start with believing that you can get help. And you can reach out to people who can help you. A few days back in my office, a young woman walked in and we had to talk about her marriage and everything. And after that, I said, look, why would you be trapped? Your mind is trapped first. Let's forget the man first. At this point, we're not talking about the man. I'm talking about you. You're underutilizing your abilities. You are so blessed. So let's talk about how to make you blossom. And the man will have no choice than to accept you.
But then I need to ask you this critical question, Noyen. All right, as much as your mindset, your mental state, and all of that has got, you know, a very key role to play in how you turn out as a woman and all that.
That's right.
We still must talk about the fundamental issues as well, such as our culture, our tradition,
Exactly.
and all of that, which sometimes leaves
Exactly.
most women who are from our climate with no choice but to just go with the flow. As it is in Africa, even in Nigeria,
Exactly.
a woman's level of success is measured,
Exactly.
you know, around a man. Do you get what I mean? No
That's
matter
right.
the degrees and accomplishments
Exactly.
and everything. If, for instance, you are unmarried, all right, that success somehow is not celebrated because they feel you are not complete yet and all of that. So even as much as you try to have a positive outlook to life and build that confidence in yourself, how do you then navigate seeing that we have such a strong cultural and traditional background such as we have in Africa?
All right, culture is a people's way of life, right? Now, there are aspects of our culture that unless we fight it, it won't change because of I don't want to sound negative, but we all know that we have a male-dominated culture. So there are aspects of the culture that you obviously cannot change in totality, but wherever you find yourself, you must give yourself a voice and give the women around you a voice. Now, let's talk about the issue you raised about marriage or not being married. I tell my girls, I have two girls, I say, look, marriage does not fulfill a woman. An unfulfilled woman as a spinster will also be an unfulfilled woman as a married woman. So everything begins with you. Now, our culture, there are aspects of the culture that must be changed. But this is a process. So that's why when I meet every parent, I say, look, you are the culture that I'm looking at. Change the culture in your environment.
Culture, your child.
Yes, it's about you. If I have my culture, generally says, oh, no woman should have any inheritance. But in my house, I can change that culture. I said, look, I have children. I have male, I have female. They are all my children. I went through the same process to have them. So whatever I have. So changing of the culture most times starts from the home. That's why we are particularly about parenting. That's why we are particularly about how you connect with your child and what you can change within your environment. If every family changes, then the culture is changed.
True that. Thank you, Noyen, for bringing that up. For every child, the parent is the first culture
That's right.
they learn. Yes, I'll use me as an example. My mother comes from a place where every woman has to be circumcised culturally. It is tradition. She was circumcised when she was 16 because she kept sharing that story with us of the pain she went through, and while she was going through that pain, she swore that none of her female children will experience this, which is, we're thankful to her today. We're three girls, we are all uncircumcised because my mother took a stand and said, no, this is so unnecessary. Yeah, so to buttress what you said, that every parent, you are the culture.
Exactly. You create your child's culture.
Exactly.
You create the culture you want to see.
Each and every family. Now, can you lend your voice to the conversation?
I think I agree with what Ms. Noyen is saying. She said, I remember when she said emancipation, women emancipation. That reminds me of my album, Emancipation of Chips. And also culture, what I know is that culture can be limiting. Because I remember in those days in Calabar, killing of twins was a culture. So that's Mary Slessor started. Then I know in some areas again where albino, if you're an albino, you say it's evil. These are cultures.
It's
So
not even evil for
that's what I'm saying. Cultures can be limiting. So it's for you to filter it. change is constant. Things are changing every day. So as you get wiser and educate yourself, you know that this, because if you know that albinism is biological, there's a process in biology that makes it possible. And twins is just the egg dividing into two. So these are education. If you aren't educated, you think is a taboo or something. So I agree with her. It's true. So it's women empowerment. That's what she's talking about. And I think because another thing I noticed is that the tradition over in Africa is that women are dependent on men, so that's why they are vulnerable.
That's right.
So, but if a woman can be independent, maybe, I know the culture says the man has control, but a woman should be at least be able to stand on her own, not fully, partially. Then she will have more say than when she's just totally 100% dependent on the husband. So she's now vulnerable.
So education plays a critical
role. Education is education. Okay, like I always say, I have the greatest the farm for my experiment is my family. I always want. So I told my girls, I said, look, don't wait for anyone to empower you, because if you are empowered before you walk into the marriage, there are certain limitations that cannot be placed on you. So it's not about marriage. Do you understand? It's not about marriage. It's about we parents rising up to that challenge that every girl child must be made to find her feet. I have my girls in the University of Lagos. They are all entrepreneurs. My daughter already has a registered label, St. Goretti. And of course, if she walks into marriage tomorrow, the man is not going to take it away from her. This is who she is. So my call in Woman Arises, please empower every woman around you. If the woman is not opportuned to be educated formally, education is not just formal education. There are many other ways to empower women. Please, anyhow, lend your voice to women empowerment.
Yes, please.
Let every woman around you, let every man around you be encouraged. My friend and my sister Chimamanda Adichie will always say, I wish we would all become feminists. What does she mean? I wish everyone will understand that this is a call for every single person to empower the women around them.
Thank you so much. Well said, well said. All right, Chibuzo, you took an extra step, to actually do like an inspirational thing for women.
Yeah.
Okay, what brought on that idea first of all?
Like I said, I'm not a mainstream artist. I'm a motivational speaker, also an artist, but not mainstream. So I pick dates like Valentine, Armed Forces Remembrance Day, Valentine's Day, International Women's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. So this is like way of me carving my own niche. So I pick those days and do something around it. So just to get my own voice heard. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So in celebrating women, because I went through your work, it's just about you talking about, be more empathetic, to a woman. That's what the message really is about. Like, do you practice what you preach?
Sure.
Give me an instance.
Why?
I'm putting you on the spot.
I practice what I preach because,
who can I call?
No, I know for the fact that I've lived abroad, so I see the way things are done. So I'm not like a rigid person that is not exposed. I see things. So women have a say. Like I just told you, the problem is that the challenge we're having in Africa is that most women are vulnerable because they are 100% dependent on the man. So that's where the challenge is. So I always inspire them because they are superheroes. They are underrepresented in politics, in business, because even in families they tell you, oh, I'm looking for a guy. Why? They don't know a woman is also important. It's because I'm looking for a man. A woman is important because women can be CEOs, women can be politicians. So
it can be all that and much more.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it. All right, so Noyen, your book Woman Arise is a gift, as it were, to women. All right, in terms of information, and enlightenment and all that. What more should we know? Quickly.
The book Woman Arise is a celebration of womanhood. Most times we don't even know how much we have contributed.
I like the smile on your face.
Oh yes, whenever I talk about women, I have this special smile. Because I've been opportuned to speak with women, to interact with them, and I see so much strength. I see so much stored up in this sometimes referred to as a thing. We have so much. in different environments, I see women who have done so much. So in Women Arise, I singled out 50 women to celebrate them. But look around you everywhere. Look at your mother. Look at your sisters. They're all soaring. They're all doing giant strides, you know. But just like Chibuzo said, sometimes it's like we are hidden under the man. You don't have to hide under any man. I told a young woman recently, she's not married, and she said, oh, Auntie Noye, I don't want to buy a car because, you know, when I buy a car, I say, look, you're living in this in the 50s. Yeah. Girl, go get yourself any car of your choice. You worked hard for it. Yeah. Get it. Yeah. You only need one man in your life, and that man could be waiting for you to buy a car before he comes. Live your life to the full. So Women Arise is a celebration of the great achievements of women. And then is on the flip side, you know, an energizer, is a booster. Don't die in your comfort zone. Nothing good comes out of a comfort zone. When I started writing, my children, they all know, when you are sleeping, I'm awake writing because I have other things I do during the day. Everyone just wants to see your success. They don't care how you come about it. So this is a celebration of women and a jack-up from whoever you are who is a woman waiting on anybody. I come from a very lowly background. At a point, I couldn't even go to school anymore because my father could not afford it. Fortunately, I got myself a scholarship. That scholarship came with a lot of and I said, good. Thank God we are done with secondary school. If my mom could survive, and with 9 children, yes, I'm the first. She survived. First. Yes, so we got to the university, we started selling eggs, we started selling, whatever sellable, we must get to school. We must come out of school because education is important. Is the key. So this is what Women Arise is all about. If you read it, if you are a man, you also need to read this book.
Thank you for bringing the man angle, because as much as we keep having this conversation about women arising and taking up your space in the global scheme of things, having men to actually support us on that mission, you know, we only work to our advantage.
That's
so
right.
We need men like Chibuzo.
That's right.
Who understand that women are human beings as well, and all a woman is actually asking for is not much, just a little teeny weeny bit of space.
That's
just
right.
to be herself.
That's right.
all a woman really wants.
That's
okay?
right.
So we need more men.
As
That's right.
Ms. Noye just said, education. Remember Mandela, late Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon with which we can change the world.
Yes.
So that's it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And the message out there for today is, are you a woman? All right. You are important.
That's right.
You are seen.
Yes.
You are part of the statistics. So don't think you are one invisible person. And God made you whole. He made you a whole human being. You don't need to wait until some people see marriage as an escape.
That's
or
right.
see marriage as that thing they're waiting for before I actually start to breathe. Until I'm married and I'm nobody. You are a whole human being. Go and be the best version of yourself while you're waiting for that man to come. All right? Don't just relegate yourself to the background and think without a man you cannot be who God has made you to be. Quickly, in 10 seconds.
Please, for the man, I want to beg you, please. Please, we need your support. Please. We do need your support. Please, just hold us by the hand. Encourage us. Tell us we can do it. That's how I got to where I am today and still climbing. My husband will always tell me, go girl, I know you can. He's never on the scene, never on the scene. But I know that every single thing I've been able to achieve is because he's there, spurring me on, never stopping me. Never ever stopping me. Yeah, last year I was in Rwanda for an educational conference. He kept telling me, go girl, you can. I said, but you can. You can. Please, men, help us. Tell us we can.
Thank you so much. I wish you had more time.
Remember, there are examples now, like Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
That's right.
You should be thanking the husband.
Yeah.
Because see how far the woman has
We
gone.
will kneel down and thank you.
Yes.
We will lie on the floor and thank you. We will do anything to thank you.
All the glory comes back
to you. Thank you
so much, Noye. Thank you. I will have to bring you back on the show. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you, Chibuzo.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
You
All
too.
right.
You too.
All right. So we're going to leave you with Chibuzo's inspirational talk about a woman, okay? And that's how we close off the show for this afternoon. Thank you everyone for watching, and once again to all the women folks around the world, happy International Women's Day. And don't forget, Sunday is Mother's Day, so
that's
buy
right.
that woman a gift. All right, see you next time. We'll leave you with this one from Chips. Bye for now.